Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to be looking at the 6th book in the last Apprentice series, or the Wardstone Chronicles as they're known in the UK, most commonly called the Spooks. So this is book 6 in the US. It's called The Clash of Demons. In the UK, it's called the Spooks Sacrifice. It makes a lot of sense in that one. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, please check out the rest of this book series. I have an introduction as well as books 1 through 5. It will not make sense unless you've watched those book reviews or read these books. So yeah, read through those before this. Otherwise, again, not going to make sense. You have to read them in order. So let's talk about the Clash of Demons. So in book 5, at the very end of it, Alice is banished. Tom gets a letter from Mom saying, I need your help. So, okay. So it starts off, Tom is home alone. He's been ignoring mirror messages from Alice, and she pretty much gives him some sort of warning. He wakes up, he sees this warning. It's like, oh crap, I'm being attacked by something. I'm not quite sure what the heck this is. The Bogart's not paying attention, and he has to capture this thing, and the Bogart kills it. And it's some sort of monster from Greece, which, if you remember, that's where his mother's from. Him and the spook go down to see his mother's come back, and there are witches on the back lawn. So something's going on. Obviously, Ellie, his sister-in-law, and Jack, his brother, are not happy about the situation. His other brother, James, understands things a little bit more. So his brother's very, very confused. His mother looks a heck of a lot younger. By this time, Tom has an idea his mother might be a Lima witch. She kind of is. She kind of isn't. There's more interesting stories here. So basically, she's like, she's already been in the tower. I had to take some of the money I left for you because things are going very, very badly in Greece. I need your help. And I want you to come with me to Greece. And then she talks specifically to Gregory, who gets really, really, really pissed off and goes storming back to Chipin and basically tells him, if you're not back in 3 days, you're not my apprentice anymore. So yeah, he's pissed off. His mother is teaming up with the witches because things are really, really bad in Greece. And turns out they need to fight some sort of other demon god. Because of course they do. So she's actually summoned Bill Artwright, and he comes down. She talks to him. He agrees to come, partially because he had been a military man, so she kind of needs his expertise. And he's coming down with his dog and her 2 now nearly adult puppies. So they're half-grown dogs. So they are not nursing anymore. They're not itsy-bitsy little hounds. They're 2 males. I can't remember what their names are. And Alice is back, and you have the Grimkin is there. And she gives him both some sort of weird promise and a sword. So it's like, this is made out of silver. It can pierce the dark. And you can use this weird little promise that I've built up basically over years. And again, it's connected to the dark. So they eventually leave. Jack is not happy again. They were tortured by these witches that are now camped out on their back lawn, essentially. And so the witches leave. Tom, his mother, and Artwright leave. Alice has already gone ahead. They leave. They get on a ship. And Gregory shows up, and just as they're pulling away, he just does a kind of a flying leap and is able to get on the ship. And he's still really, really pissed off. So his mother, of course, can't be exposed to the sun, so she's hiding down in the cabin, and she gives him a little bit more information. They're fighting this monster that comes every 7 years, but normally the priests in this area are magical enough that they're able to control her and her monsters. But now that the fiend is loose, he's supporting her. So if she gets loose this time, she'll be able to, with the help of the fiend, essentially have her portal open anywhere else on Earth. So she has to be destroyed this time. Pirates try to get on board the ship at some point in time when they're going on the Greek coast. The witches have fun eating them, which is so very much interesting. You see how evil kind of the witches are, but again, pirates. So they get to Greece. She basically, soldiers of his mother's show up, and then for at least briefly, they stay on the ship one night, but she takes Tom to the house where she lived with his father when they were in Greece, and she tells him who she is, or rather, what she is. Let's just say in this world, Zeus and Hera were a thing. The Trojan War was history and really did things. Hercules may or may not, it alludes to Hercules a little bit, but isn't quite sure. So she reveals what she is, which is essentially the mother of all Lima witches. She's very, very old, but she turned to the light and had him. Essentially, Tom is her weapon. Thomas, her weapon is to permanently defeat the dark. And essentially she tells him, like, yes, once you completely defeat the fiend, I will be redeemed for doing some horrible, horrible things after Hera killed my children. So, yes, all the Limas essentially came from her descendants. Because she, I believe, ended up with some sort of other demon and having more demons, because that's what they do. So, they go to this temple. They essentially use Tom's blood. Yes, he uses that promise. I'll make that. He uses that promise to rescue Alice. So he uses the dark to rescue Alice, which pisses off this other witch from this other tribe who has a big, big crush on Tom. And the only reason she's been dragged along is because Tom's mother can no longer see into the future. This word, I think Maeve is her name. The one with, if you're familiar with the book, she has 2 younger twin sisters. She's really pissed off because she's like, I saw Alice die. What the heck did you do? And so she's not pleased. So they have a plan back to going into this temple, trying to destroy this creature before she basically emerges. And they normally send in this delegation where the youngest gives up their life and everybody else always ends up crazy. So, because monsters everywhere. So Tom goes in, he's part of the delegation. Alice forces her way to be part of it because originally his mother doesn't want her to be. The Grimkin is part of it. A lot of the other witches are part of it. They go in. Grimkin has to fight this knight and win in order to not sacrifice Tom's life and have them all die. Instead, they just give him a cup of his blood. Because again, he's the youngest. And his mother, this is one of the other weapons because he's the 7th son of a 7th son. And then he's his mother's son as well. So, and this is this monster's ultimate enemy is Tom's mother. And she transforms back into monster creature to destroy this thing. But in the meantime, Arkwright dies. He's killed trying to protect them. And Tom sells his soul to the devil in order to help buy them time and give him directions. And so, no, he doesn't. Basically, he has to now defeat the fiend or his soul will be tortured for all eternity in order to protect him. Essentially, the fiend said, you have 3 days and then I'll come and take you. Alice, who is the fiend's daughter and had taken some of Tom's blood when he was unconscious at one point, protects him with having mixed both their bloods together in this kind of blood jar. So it's like, you have to keep this on you now to keep him away from you. And we have to now figure out how to bind him or destroy him. Or he's going to torture you for all eternity. So they get back to Chippen, get back to the country with some of the witches. The Grimkin survives. Some of the witches have survived. Obviously, there was mass slaughter. They have to deal with the dogs, who are technically now Tom's to an extent. So, and I hear the sound of my toddler fussing. So that is it for this book review. Check out the rest of the book reviews for this series. Check out my channel. most of my stuff is lighter than this. So again, like and subscribe. Thank you.